welcome to The Telescope Show. We are discovering God through geek culture, vanquishing doubt, and helping you become a hero of faith. Well, we are back. Matthew Seipel Anderson and...
Katie Seipel Anderson.
How are you, Katie?
I'm doing pretty good. It's later in the day than we've done the past couple episodes, so we'll see how it goes. I'm a morning person.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm more of a night owl. Except for the last 10 years, having kids, I've kind of been forced into the morning routine a little bit more.
Yeah, it wasn't the kids. I've always been a morning person.
Well, for me anyway. Well, folks, we're glad to be here. Hope you're doing well. We are going to talk about some stellar nerd news. Star Trek Picard is coming to a screen near you on March 3rd. We're very excited to see Mr. Picard back in action, facing off against the legendary Star Trek villain known as Q.
Q. I think I've seen a couple episodes with Q.
Yeah, they were great. He's kind of a fan favorite, and we were talking earlier that we probably should go back and watch a few of those and maybe even do a little preview show about Q.
That'd be kind of fun. It's been a while.
It's been a while since we've done anything about Trek. In other news, there is a series coming out on Paramount Plus about the video game Halo. And Halo was originally released in 2001. That was a long time ago. And Katie, do you have a lot of experience playing Halo or other video games?
Yeah, that's like a rhetorical question from your perspective, because you know very well that I do not. I do not have any experience with Halo or any video games from my childhood days. A Mario Kart is about the extent of my experience, and some like really classic old school Mario with like the castles that you go through and you bang their heads on things and you get like the coins and stuff and you jump on things and you get bigger.
Yeah, I don't really have much experience either. Honestly, I did have video games growing up, but I was like a Sega kid, and all my friends were Nintendo kids. I kind of liked being different and odd, but yeah. And then, growing up, I got out of video games. I didn't stick with it like a lot of people do as they age. And now, over the years, we've been involved with youth ministry, the two of us. And I have played Halo quite a few times with youth students who always completely destroy me and make fun of me, and then I hand the controller to someone who is much better than me, and I just hang out with them.
And I've never played Halo.
Well, now you can watch a show all about Halo, and you don't have to play at all, and that will probably be a lot more enjoyable and relaxing for us. And there is another classic property that's being brought to the small screen, Willow. Willow was a movie that came out in 1988, and now Disney is creating a brand new Willow series. And we don't know too much about that series, but it's kind of interesting how things work out. We were talking about Lord of the Rings like earlier in the week because we're excited about that new show. And then I brought up Willow, and you had never seen it.
No, I've never seen it. I wasn't sure when he was mentioning it. He was mentioning, kind of name-dropping all these names from Willow, and I'm like, I don't think I've seen it. But I'm not really good at remembering what I've seen and haven't seen. But I enjoyed it enough watching it that I really don't think I had seen it before. I think I would have remembered watching that one.
Yeah, and the more we talked about it, and the more I started to reminisce and remember it, the more excited I got about Willow. So we found it. It's on Disney. You can go watch it right now. And yeah, it was a blast watching it. And released in 1988 by Lucasfilms. And it reminded us of some of the things we grew up watching.
And it was kind of random that, like, now they're doing this new Willow series. Because the only reason why we found out about it was because Matt tried to find it to watch. And then he's like, wait a second, they're doing a series on this.
Yeah, I didn't know they were doing a series before I went searching for the old movie. So that was cool.
The movie was pretty fun. It reminded me some of Princess Bride. It kind of had, like, similar... like flair to it or similar flavor. Yeah.
Marriage is what brings us here today.
I think it's Together Today.
Together, yeah. Well, hey, we'll have to watch that again. I need a refresher on the quotable lines.
I guess we will. Yeah, some of the characters kind of reminded me of Princess Bride.
Definitely. And just the overall fantasy vibe. It was very fun.
It was. I will say that kind of the main guys, like warriors, name Mad Mardigan really seemed like more of a name for a wizard or something.
I could see that. It's a little out there.
It sounds like a wizard name to me.
Yeah.
Mad Mardigan.
Sounds like a crazy, like, eccentric wizard, like Harry Potter's sitting there, and he doesn't know who his new teacher is, and in walks, like, Mad Mardigan, the wizard.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you were saying that in Princess Bride they had the ROUSs.
Oh, yeah. In Willow, they have these kind of, like, weird rat dog things, and they definitely reminded me of ROUSs from Princess Bride.
Yeah, completely. They're pretty sweet, though. They're pretty sweet. From my point of view, it reminded me a lot of Star Wars, and I probably was thinking along those lines because Willow was released by Lucasfilms, which of course did Star Wars. So just the fact that they used so many practical effects, and even just the sword fights and the wizardry and the monsters, it just reminded me of Star Wars. Again, it was kind of a feel thing. It's from the same era, same studio, just had like a feel.
And of course, you can't if you know the story of Moses or of Jesus, like the birth story of either one, you can't help but remember that when you're watching the birth of the princess. There's this prophecy that was saying that she was going to overrun the queen, and so the queen is gathering all the pregnant ladies, and if any of their babies have this mark, they're going to kill it. And it reminded me of both those times in the Bible.
It completely reminded us both of those stories. We talked about it quite a bit afterwards. I looked up the story of Jesus in the Bible, and you can find that in the Gospels. There was an event that happened called the Massacre of the Innocents, and it's an event that's still commemorated today, actually, in more liturgical churches like the Catholic Church. They still commemorate that event happening, and that event was really significant because it was a fulfillment of a prophecy from Jeremiah chapter 31. Herod heard about this child that was supposedly, fulfilling some prophecies and could be the Messiah. He was all worried about Jewish revolts and people kind of rallying around this supposedly promised child. He gathered up his soldiers, and they went and they killed all the children 2 years and younger who lived in the vicinity of Bethlehem.
It's sad and crazy and definitely an evil thing. And in the movie, it's it was just the one, but it was still an innocent child that was
And the movie Willow definitely had a good versus evil vibe to it.
Yeah, the classic. I mean, the Wicked Queen was completely wicked, and they were trying to save the innocent princess from the wicked queen. It was kind of that classic good versus evil, where some of the new movies that have come out seemed a little more kind of an anti-hero or more gray in exactly what's good and bad. Some of the characters that are good became better during this journey and maybe had a more nefarious past, but yeah, it was the classic we're trying to defeat the evil, which we don't see quite as much in some of the newer movies necessarily.
Yeah, the evil queen was straight out of a Disney flick. She could have been the evil sorceress queen from, I don't know, Sword in the Stone or Cinderella or
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty, that's the one. I always forget.
Yeah, she reminded me of that one.
I don't know my Disney characters. So we're kind of curious about the new Willow, if it's going to continue in that same good versus evil vein, or if it's going to have more, like Katie said, characters who are kind of gray, kind of morally ambiguous. I just don't know. What do you guys think?
And also, what do you want? What are you kind of craving when it comes to new series or new movies? It's kind of an interesting question.
Sometimes it's a little refreshing to see a good versus evil story. To have someone you can really root for through their perils, their ups and downs. And I think that's one of the attractions of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You've got these good characters against these evil characters. But sometimes, gray characters can be a little more relatable in some ways because all of us have some flaws and try to be good, but we're not always perfect. Except for you, honey.
Oh, thank you.
Well, when it comes to the new show, we don't know too much about it. The only thing we know about the plot is that it's going to center around a group of characters on a quest to save a kidnapped prince. And we also know that it's going to star Warwick Davis, who originally played Willow. And it's not going to be a reboot, thankfully. They're not going to, CGI Warwick's face or anything like that. The story is happening decades after the original story, so presumably it's going to pick up in the Willow world, the Willowverse, and carry the story forward from there.
So Matt did a little research. We didn't. Matt did. It looks like Warwick. Is that right? Warwick Davis. He was also in Star Wars and Harry Potter. So he's kind of like been making the rounds with these movies that are like this.
Yeah, there's a kind of a might be a well-known story, but some of you may not have heard it. Warwick Davis was very young when they were filming Return of the Jedi. And he was either supposed to be like a background Ewok, or he was just like a fill-in person. And anyway, somebody was sick, and so he got to actually play Wicket, I think, which was one of the main Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. And it was kind of a fluke. It was because someone was sick, he got to take that role, and he ended up becoming this huge famous dude who's been in lots of these kind of movies. And Warwick Davis also hosts a lot of the big Star Wars events around the country.
Does he really?
Yeah, he MCs them.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he's definitely well-loved by the fans.
Interesting. Well, it'll be fun to see what this new series brings about. And it's just like this coming year sometime.
Yeah, 2022, but we have no idea when it's popping up.
Well, I'm sure we'll keep you informed when we know more.
Here's a question. What element or elements from the original movie would you like them to bring forward into the new show? Because I just thought of one.
Yeah, what's that?
The little brownies. The little mini dudes with the crazy hair.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They were awesome.
Definitely, those were fun.
They were definitely show stealers.
They were fun. I kind of think that they should bring the two-headed dragon-y thing.
Yes.
Because that's like a really kind of unique and ugly and a little bit funny because it was a little bit unexpected or not intentioned or something like that.
Yeah, it was random. When we were talking about how funny it was in the original movie, there's a scene where the good sorceress is actually been transformed into a goat. You'll have to watch the movie to see how that comes about. She tells Warwick Davis, Willow, I couldn't remember his character's name, to point the wand at the troll because there's a troll in his way. So he does it, and it must have been a botched spell because then the troll falls into a moat and turns into this giant two-headed monster that was stop animation, like claymation kind of a thing. And it was crazy, and it started eating everybody, good, bad alike, just ate everyone in its sight. And
it's just like really ugly.
Yeah.
It was not pleasant to look at. But it'd be kind of fun to see that come back just because it's kind of ironic if it did come back.
Yeah. My favorite was how they killed that thing. If you remember, Mad Mardigan jumped on it, stabbed it through the head, and the sword came out the bottom of its mouth. And it also blew fire, by the way. And then it tried to blow fire out of that head, and it couldn't open its mouth because the sword was jammed through its brain, and its head exploded. Yeah,
the movie kind of had a lot of... It surprisingly is a PG movie. We had to look that up because it really watched more like a PG-13. I really thought it was going to be PG-13. But
I'm saying... trying to kill babies, old ladies punching each other in the face and choking each other, monsters' heads blowing up.
Some of the scenes, the fight scenes, were a little bit more gory than you'd expect in a PG, for sure.
Man. George Lucas was like pushing the limits. Anyway, we enjoyed it tremendously, I would say, and we're having fun, obviously, talking about it. If you like the show today, hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with a friend, share it with yourself, and listen to it again. That would be fun. And if you really want to connect with us, you can email us at thetelescope@icloud.com, or you can hop on Facebook and look up our Facebook group. It's just The Telescope Show. And go to our website, thetelescopeshow.com. There's a link to the Facebook group. So, man, we're just like all over the internet.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts on Willow or any of the other things that we talked about today.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, we are done. Take care. God bless. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.